What's going on, guys? Cultimush back at it with another video. This is a $600 gaming PC build, and a lot of you guys have been requesting me to do new build videos with the new Radeon R9 300 series of cards. So here is a build that ranges from $600 to $650 depending on where you shop. You can find some deals and probably get it even under $600. And this is a great build to do some really high quality 1080p gaming. You're going to be maxing out a lot of titles, getting 60 frames per second, and playing a lot of the new releases in really good settings and really good frame rates. Obviously, there are some games like Witcher 3 that you can't completely max out, but even those games, you're going to be playing them really well. So without further ado, let's get right into this with the CPU of the build. I went with the Intel Core i5 4460 3.2 GHz quad-core processor. For the CPU, I went with the Intel Core i5 4460 3.2 GHz quad-core processor for around $175. Unfortunately, this isn't a K-series processor, so you can't overclock it, but it is clocked decently at 3.2 GHz, and it is a quad-core CPU, which you definitely want in a build. That quad-core is just taken advantage by so many games: Witcher 3, Dying Light, all the upcoming games like Batman, Arkham Knight, Metal Gear Solid 5, and Star Wars Battlefront. All those games take advantage of the quad-core that the i5 4460 has to offer, and for $175, it's a decent clock CPU, and it doesn't break the bank, and it's still a quad-core i5, which is really nice. For the motherboard, I went with the ASRock H97 Anniversary ATX LJ1150 motherboard. Since you can't overclock the CPU anyway, going with the Z97 board made no sense, so this H97 board for only $70 fit right into the build, and it was a really good deal. It has 4 RAM slots up to DDR3 1600MHz, 32GB of max memory, it has RAID support, and 6 SATA 6GB per second ports. Unfortunately, there's no Crossfire or SLI support, but in a $600 build, I don't think that's an option many of you guys want to go for anyway, so that should be just fine. So all in all, this is a really good motherboard for only $70 from ASRock, really fit well in the build. For memory, I went with G.Skill RipjawsX series 8GB, 2 4GB sticks running at 1600MHz. $50 for 8GB of RAM, no reason to go for more in a really budget end build like this, but 8GB is fine for the latest releases like Witcher 3, Batman Arkham Knight, upcoming games like Metal Gear Solid 5, Battlefront, Fallout 4, and it's only $50. And like I said, the motherboard does have 4 RAM slots, so if you do want to go for a 16GB configuration in the future, that is an option that's going to be open to you. But for now, go with 8GB for $50, which is a really good deal. For storage, I went with the Western Digital Caviar Blue 1TB 3.5-inch 7200 RPM hard drive. If you guys see one of those Seagate hard drives, they have 2 and 3TB hard drives. I've been seeing a lot of them on sale for like $70. So if you guys see one of those, maybe opt with that instead, because I know some of you guys do need more than a terabyte if you're the kind of guy that's recording videos, or if you just want to have all your games installed at once, maybe a 2TB drive would be more beneficial to you. And right now, if you do look hard enough, you can get them really cheap. So maybe that's an option you want to look at. Otherwise, this terabyte for $50 is a pretty decent value. For the video card, I went with the Sapphire Radeon R9 380 2GB Dual-X video card for $200. This GPU can play a lot of games at their highest settings at 60 frames per second at 1080p. Some of the higher end games like your Witcher 3s, you are going to have to lower the settings just a tad, and then you'll get your 60 frames per second at 1080p, but otherwise this is a really good GPU for $200. You're going to be able to play games like Witcher 3, Dying Light, Metal Gear Solid 5, Batman Arkham Knight, Fallout 4, all the latest and greatest games. You're going to be able to play all of them at 1080p at really good settings and really good frame rates. Like I said, you can't max out every game, but the majority of them you're going to be playing with really good settings and really good frame rates as well at a 1080p resolution. And for $200, this was a solid fit in the build. For the power supply, I went with the Corsair CX 500W 80+ bronze certified semi-modular ATX power supply. Now, this power supply is $54 right now, but there's also a $20 mail-in rebate attached to it, so you can get it for $34. If you're the kind of guy that wants to avoid a mail-in rebate altogether, you can get like an EVGA 500W for around $37 to $40 instead. Otherwise, this Corsair CX 500W is a really solid power supply, and it's modular, so that's going to help a lot with cable management. And 500W is going to be fine for the build. The i5 4460 is fairly power efficient, and while the R9 380 is going to use a little bit of power, it's nothing that the CX 500W can't handle. So the CX 500W for $54, $34 after the mail-in rebate was a solid fit in the build. Finally, for the case, I went with the NZXT Source 210 Black ATX mid-tower case, $37 for this case. This case isn't the fanciest thing in the world. It's pretty basic on the exterior, but in a budget end build like this, all I really want out of the case is something that's going to get the job done and look decent doing it. And the NZXT Source 210 is one of the best cases under $40, so it's a solid case. Nothing crazy, but it's going to get the job done, and like I said, in a $600 build, that's really what you're looking for. So thanks for watching this video, guys. If you have a request for a future video, as always, leave them in the comment section down below. And as always, have a great day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.